Hello everybody, today we're going to do another local Malaysian favorite, which is the Nasi Lemak. Today I'm going to give it a bit of a twist. Instead of just doing a plain Nasi Lemak, I'm going to do a Nasi Lemak cake. I'm going to share with you how to assemble the Nasi Lemak cake, but on top of that I'm also going to share with you the recipe for the sambal, which is the most delicious part of the Nasi Lemak, as well as how to make the Nasi Lemak itself. Hope you enjoy our time today, and if there's any questions you can always just post and ask me. So we need ginger, we need the pandan leaf, it's very important to get the fragrance, and then we need some serai, and then we need some shallots. All you need to do is just slice the shallots like that, just slice them. And we need to have ginger slices, okay, which I've already sliced up as well. And for the serai or the lemongrass, what we need to do is we need to give it a good dashing. Okay, so that we can release the oils as well as the flavor. Okay, for the ends, don't waste it, use it as well because you need the fragrance. There are two ways of doing it. One way of doing it is just to put everything into the pot, turn on the button and that's it, press the button, that's it. The other way is to add a little bit of oil and saute a little bit of ingredients first. Not too much oil, just a bit. Okay, saute your onions. The fragrance is really coming out from the shallots now. Now I add in the ginger. Now the fragrance of the ginger is coming out as well. I'm going to add in the serai. Okay, just let the serai sort of like break down a little bit, and also add in the screw pine leaf, the pandan leaves. Yeah. So if you don't have the pandan leaves, it won't be as nice, but it's still okay. So you put whatever. If you don't have the serai, also okay. Just use pandan leaf. That will give it a nice fragrance already. The spices have now broken down and the smell has been released. I'm going to add the rice into it. So the rice is simply just wash and drain it. Okay, just pop the rice in and add your santan. I'm just using the Kara santan from the box. I like the Kara brand because Kara brand is very thick and it usually doesn't have that oily smell, the acrid smell. The amount of liquid we need for the rice is 1.5 cups of water to every cup of rice. So here I have about 4 cups of rice, so we should need at least about 6 cups of liquid. So I put in 2 cups of santan, and now I have to make up the rest of it using water. Okay. What we need now is, most importantly, the salt. Must be sufficient amount of salt because if not, you cannot get the flavor of the santan and nasi lemak coming out. All I need to do now is to press the button, put on the lid, and wait for it to cook. Rice is now ready, and let's have a look at it. Just look at that. So the santan has come to the top, but the fragrance is awesome. So you just give it a good stir. So once the pot is ready, don't straight away serve it. Let it take about 10 minutes or 15 minutes to sort of settle, and let the water reabsorb back into the rice before we scoop it out to serve. Because it's the MCO, I can't just run out and get some spices, and also I'm going to make the spices from scratch. I'm going to use some dry chilies, which I simply just cut into half. Why did I do that? Because I want to release the seeds from there. Too much seeds will be very, very spicy. Okay, all you need to do is cut into half when it's dry, pop it into a pot of boiling water, and let it boil for a while to soften it and to rehydrate it. Okay, so now the chili is ready. Can you see it's already plumped up and already rehydrated? So I'm going to turn off the fire. I'm going to drain it off now, and I'm just going to put it through the blender and blend it up. Just add a little bit of water and blend it up. I've already done the chili paste, so I put that aside and I'll only introduce that later into the sambal itself. What we need is lots and lots of onions. So shallots, I have, I don't know, maybe about 15 pieces of shallots here. So I'm going to blend them up, okay? I'm going to pop them in here. You don't have to necessarily use garlic, but I like a little bit for fragrance here. So just a little bit, just about 5 pips of it into it together. Just about a 2-inch ginger. And that's about it. Put a bit of water in and we need to blend it until it's fine. A very, very important ingredient that is to be blended in the spices, which is the secret ingredient, which is ikan bilis. The ikan bilis is just simply washed and just dried up. For the sambal, I'm just going to start with this onion first, the large onion, the Bombay one, but unfortunately I don't have the white one, which is sweeter, so we're just going to use whatever we have in our kitchen, especially during this MCO period. So just cut it like that. Doesn't have to be, you know, very precise or what, just cut it roughly. Okay, this is to give it that also the sweet richness. So what we need is the onions I chopped just now. I'm going to start with that first. We're just going to fry it until it's fragrant. The big onions have sweated down. I'm adding in the blended ingredients just now. The shallots, the garlic, the secret ingredient of the anchovies, as well as a little bit of ginger. So now we are just going to let it cook together for a while until it's fragrant before adding in the chili paste. So you notice I didn't add the chili paste. I just fried it on its own until it's dried up a bit. The other thing we need to do is, before we add in the chili paste, is to add in some pandan leaves as well as we are frying this. So this will give it again a more fragrant sambal. Okay, so you just fry it together. And the other secret to cooking a good sambal is unfortunately lots and lots of oil. Now it's time for us to put in the chili paste. Okay, so you can see that the color has turned and the fragrance has already been released. So I'm going to add in the chili paste now. This is quite a lot of chili paste, so I may just hold back a little bit. We also need to add in a little bit of belacan. Unfortunately, I've just run out of the normal, the raw piece of belacan, so I'm going to use what's ready. Thank God someone gave me a bottle of this as a gift from Malacca, so I shall just use a little bit of this. And some people will use some ikan bilis stock, but I'm just going to use some mushroom stock just to give it a bit more flavor. Alright, to add sweetness to it. Okay, now we need to just continue to saute the sambal until the oil breaks. Now the oil is beginning to break and the fragrance has been released now. What we need to do is now slowly simmer the sambal, and you just have to add a little bit of water. Yeah, just add a bit of water and let it simmer down and dry up. So you don't have to bother very much about it, just let it cook and simmer. It's almost ready now, the sambal. The oil has finally broken. You can see the oil and the residue has already separated. So you can see, so when the oil is broken, it means the top part is like that. Can you see? So now it's time for us to adjust the flavoring. We must add in something very important, which is the tamarind juice. So the tamarind is the Asam Jawa. I've added in about 3/4 cup of hot water to sort of soften it and to extract its juice out. The tamarind juice is ready to go in, so I'm going to pour it in. It's very thick, but in the event it's not sourish enough, you can always add more liquid into the tamarind paste and continue to extract more of its juice out. You've added in your tamarind juice, add in a little bit more of the big onions, sliced ones like that, just to add a bit of crunch to the sambal at the end. So once it's gone in, there's another important ingredient we need to include inside this sambal, which is the gula melaka. Some people would simply use the sugar, but a gula melaka will add another level of depth to its flavor. So add in a little bit at a time. Please don't add in so much because it might just over sweeten the dish. So we need it to be a little bit sour, a little bit sweet, and savory. And finally, this is entirely up to you. Once the taste is all done and ready, you see if you have available the daun limau purut. Just cut it finely like that, right into the sambal. Don't put it in too early because the taste will be gone and it will be overcooked. You just need to put it in just before you turn off the fire, so you get that nice limey flavor, Okay, now we're going to assemble the Nasi Lemak cake. It's essentially a Nasi Lemak, but we're going to press it into a tin and add in the condiments up to your creativity to create a Nasi Lemak. First thing we need to do is to just get a pan and oil it generously. Okay, because if you don't oil it generously, the rice is gonna stick to the pan, and you're not gonna get a even edge or smooth edge cake. Okay, so make sure it's generously oiled all the way to the top. Look at that. So I've used olive oil here, but you can use anything you like. Okay, there's a little bit of extra which I'm gonna just drain off in a short while. Once we've oiled our pan, we need to quickly move on to getting the hot steaming rice out, because if you don't do that, you'll end up with a cake which doesn't stick together. Once we've gotten the rice into the pan, immediately press it down like how you would do the nasi impit, you know, the Malay nasi impit. Yeah, so immediately press it down. It's really hot, so if you can't take the heat, put on a pair of gloves. Okay, immediately press it down. Use a metal spoon, kind of flattish at the bottom, so that you have good leverage to press it, compact it. What you need to do is compact the nasi. Okay, I'm going to release the cake now. What you need to do is just run a palette knife at the side of it to make sure there's no more sticking. Put a plate underneath. Normally, ideally, you use a cake board. Unfortunately, I don't have any at this point in time. So I'm going to turn it out this way. There you go. Now we are ready for the assembly of the cake, right? So this is the body of the cake which we have just turned out, and we are going to decorate. These are all the things that we're going to decorate it with, because we are limited in our supplies and our resources. Okay. Okay, so for the cucumber, to help it to stick on before we finish up the last part, I just use some toothpicks to help it to adhere to the sides. Okay, so once you've got it all round, just use a nice little ribbon and tie it tightly. So we're going to do the eggs. So we're just going to put it on. How you decorate your Nasi Lemak cake is entirely up to you. Use your creativity. I'm sure you can do a good job. Next, we're moving on to the ikan bilis, the flying fish, okay? So I'm just going to put it like that. It's time for the peanuts to go on. So I've decided to place it in this little gap here. You know, so you get some surprises peeking out from the corner of the egg. And to complete our Nasi Lemak cake, we have to top it off with our luscious sambal, which is still piping hot. Spoon it right into the middle of it.